What's up, Ninja Legends? Chase here, and today we are going to be bringing you guys the first episode of our podcast. And instead of you guys just staring at a blank screen or just our logo, I figured I would put one of our Instagram live streams up in the background. This is when we were up in Chicago for the Ultimate Ninjas competition. So this is just a little bit of live stream, and then after this, I have part of the competition playing. So I am hosting the podcast, and my co-host is Emily, and we are basically just going to focus on what this YouTube channel does, as in the next generation of ninjas, up-and-coming ninjas, and we're going to try and have every member on at least once. We may also have a few big-name ninjas up as well, and we'll talk about the huge sport, ourselves, people to look out for, and even a little bit about the YouTube channel as well. So we are going to have this up on iTunes and Spotify soon. We need to apply to have it on there. So we've already applied. It's going to probably take a couple weeks before it gets accepted on there. But once we are accepted, I will let everybody know. And make sure to follow our Instagram for the update and our YouTube channel as well if you don't already want to hear more of the podcast. But anyway, guys, I will shut up and I will let the podcast play. What's up, Ninja Legions? Chase here, and I'm with
Emily.
And we are officially starting the Ninja Allegiance podcast. I'm going to be one of the hosts, and Emily's going to be co-hosting. Emily, do you have anything you would like to say before we get started?
If you guys don't follow us on YouTube, make sure you go subscribe and like. And if you want, you can comment on our videos.
We actually just yesterday posted a tips and tricks video on how to calm your nerves before a competition. So if you're a ninja and you compete a lot and you're having trouble calming down nerves, that's a great place to get your nerves calmed down.
Even if you're not a ninja, it also works with a lot of other different sports like gymnastics, football, basketball. Anytime you get nervous, like these tips and tricks can really help.
Yep. And it's not just athletics either. It could be like talking in front of a crowd or anything, really.
Yep.
Emily, we're going to focus a little bit on you for this first one because
Alrighty.
You just did something on TV. If you'd like to talk a little bit about that.
So I just finished competing on American Ninja Warrior Junior. I was in episode 5, and I have to say, this was the greatest experience of my life.
What was kind of the behind the scenes of that?
Behind the scenes, a lot of the competitors, we all hung out. We got to watch Barkley Stockett on TV while she was competing, and it was just a lot of fun. We got to stay in this really big hotel, and we got to all meet up and just hang out. So it was really fun.
Were there any ninja gyms nearby?
There's not a lot of ninja gyms in LA, so pretty much we had the warm-up area in behind the scenes of American Ninja Warrior Junior, and we also had the hotel, which we had the workout room, and we were using the escalators to come up with fun ninja stuff.
What was in the warm-up area?
So we had, I think it's the Atomic Star. It's really big, and we got some pull-up bars, so we were doing laches off of there and just kind of coming up with some fun stuff.
So right before your run, what was going through your head?
I was actually the first runner, and I didn't have a lot of time to get ready because we got over there and I was like starting to stretch, and then they called me over, so it made me a little bit more nervous. And especially since I was going against Maggie Owen, because I know she is such a talented ninja, and she's so strong. My mind was like a little jumbled up, and I was really nervous, but after my run, it was okay.
So they just called you like halfway through warming up?
Oh, no, it wasn't even halfway. I pretty much got there. I did like 2 stretches, and I was about to play music, which I normally don't do, but I thought it would help calm my nerves. And then they just called me over.
So were you the first run of the day, or just of the 13 to 14-year-olds, or of your bracket?
We had two sections. One was in the morning and one was in the afternoon. I was in the afternoon, and I ran first in the afternoon.
Did you know your groups before you ran, or did they just throw it at you? You didn't know till you were on stage?
Yeah, pretty much.
So how was that first race for you?
I felt like I went really slow. Looking back at my videos and looking at what I could have done, I should have not matched on the double steps. But speed is also not one of my strongest things, so I'm really trying to work on that, and I think this run was a good, like, indicator of what I need to work on and what I can fix.
So you noticed a lot of mistakes. Did you go back and kind of watch every little second of it? I know for a lot of comps, I've gone back and gone, oh, I could have saved so much time there. Why did I not do this or whatever?
Yeah, because I know, so when I was on the warped wall, too, like, I usually take 4 steps, so I start off with my left so I can end on my right. And when I hit with my right foot, which meant I can only take 3 steps. And it just got in my mind, so I didn't make it the first try, but second time I just ran with much power as I could.
And what about that second race? Because you went up against Pardo for that second one.
Man, Pardo is a beast. He is so fast. It did help that when I jumped down from the rope, my foot got caught on the mat and I tripped. So that definitely slowed me down. But overall, I don't even think I could beat Pardo because he is so fast.
Yeah, Pardo's one of those people that when he starts competing with my age group in a few years, I'm going to be scared to go up against him.
Yeah, he's a really hard worker, super nice.
Oh yeah, he's dedicated like no one else.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, too, that, for me anyways, watching that episode is kind of frustrating because 3 of the 4 members were Ninja Legion's people. So if you guys didn't watch that episode, you really should. We had Elijah on a little bit earlier. He won his group. And then
episode 3?
Yep, episode 3, he was the winner, so he's moving on to, what, semifinals?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he's moving
on to... I know the results, which I cannot share with you guys, but I don't know how they're going to be setting up all the episodes.
Yeah, so I know Elijah already moved on, so we're going to see how he does in the future. And then Pardo also is moving on. And then you went out in the second race, in your second one?
Yes.
But you hit both buzzers, right?
Yep.
What was your fastest time? Do you know?
I actually do not know. So the people that really knew is that when it showed up on the screen and my time did not, so I really do not know.
How is the feeling versus a normal comp? I assume it's different from running a mini comp at the edge.
When you're running against someone, it is extremely different than when you're just going against yourself, because you have one chance. You can't make any mistakes, and you have to go as fast as you can. So a lot of times I'll be watching the person next to me, and those little things that they do, I might try, and they completely throw me off. I could fall, or it could help me. So it's just, there's a lot of possibilities, which makes it a lot more nerve-wracking.
Do you think it was the side-by-side racing that was more a mental challenge, or just how big the show is itself? Just having to be like, oh, there's cameras here, there's a crowd watching, there's Matt and Akbar.
Yeah, I don't think the crowd and all the cameras weren't that nerve-wracking. I just think when you're running against another person, it's a lot more nerve-wracking. And if you ever look at American Ninja Warrior, just in general, you know, they can take breaks, they can breathe just like a normal course. This is just kind of like, oh, it all depends on the person next to me, what's going to happen.
Yeah, if you take a second for a breath, you're practically done.
Yeah.
I know that's one of the things with speed comps too, like Rockford, that we went at, and we made a video on that too, so if you guys haven't seen that, go check that out.
Yep.
But with that, for me, I was going in the second to last wave, and I was the second runner. So the time for me to beat then was very different from the time I had to beat at the end.
Yeah.
You know, so I just went, well, this is the time I'm aiming for, and I hit the 47-second mark that I wanted to hit, and it was 0.05 of a second, way too slow.
Yep.
For the pros. But you actually made it into the pros rounds for that.
Yep, so at first I didn't think I was going to make it because I knew I made a lot of mistakes on the rope and I slowed myself down. But when I did find out I made it to the finals, like to compete with the pros, that was really awesome. Really exciting.
What was it like in the backstage warm-up area with all the pros? And I think Jake Murray was sliding around on a skateboard at one point.
It felt like I was sitting with celebrities. It was so cool. And, you know, they're really nice people, but they're also really energetic. They were running around doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It was fun hanging out with them.
Was there any big names that you kind of connected with the most at all?
No, I think we all just kind of, like, hung out and stuff. But a lot of the ninjas were, like, getting in their zone and kind of just, like, getting ready to compete. For me, I was just kind of like, all right, let's go out and wing this. See how it goes.
Yeah, and you went up once again versus Maggie.
Yep, she is incredibly strong.
Yeah, she's impressive, because that was actually my first time hearing about her at Rockford. I think for most of us, too, that haven't really competed in that age group, that was kind of the defining moment for that.
Yeah.
What did you do to prepare for A&W Junior?
So, at first, we had no idea what we were going to be doing. So, I trained in a ton of endurance. I just did everything to kill my grip, so I'd be ready for if they did do that. A little bit before, we found out it was Ninja versus Ninja. So, me and Sam Sherbrooke, who is my coach at the Edge, we worked on cutting speed and, taking a normal obstacle and seeing what is the fastest way to get through this. So, that's how I prepared.
So you just took as many obstacles as you could and just found the most efficient, quick way to do it?
Yeah, so what can I do to make this the fastest to go through?
Was there anything that you guessed right would be on the course? Like anything you saw and went, yes, I trained for that?
Lachaise. I practiced a lot of Lachaise and trying to figure out the fastest way. And then warped wall, obviously.
Yeah.
But
it'd be kind of a shame if it wasn't in there.
I know. That's the best part.
I know, right? It's the most iconic obstacle besides probably, salmon ladder? Maybe quad steps?
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't even have the quad steps in there.
I don't like the quad steps. I always have... They're very easy, but I somehow always seem to have trouble on them.
Yeah, it's weird because for me, I'm one of those competitors where in my head I'm always going through, all right, I'm going to win, and just kind of that positive mindset of, all right, I know I can do everything here. I know I can get to the back half, and if I don't get to the back half, I'm not pleased with that. And quad steps are usually first, second obstacle. I almost always worry about it just because you don't want to be that guy that goes out on it.
That's actually how my mental, how I think about stuff too.
Because for me it's all right, so we got quad steps, easy, easy, easy. Ooh, that one's going to be hard. That's taking out a lot of people. Probably going to be a race to that obstacle. And then you get on the course and go, I hope I don't fall on the quad steps. When you're thinking about so far in advance.
When I go too, I try to go easy, but then I'll take this little risk on a really easy obstacle. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this, and then I do something stupid.
Yeah, well,
trying to work on that.
Yeah, at Real Life Ninja Academy this year, it was a speed course, and this was my second comp of the year, so I'd already qualified at MLab, so it wasn't one of those where you failed the first one, you're like, now I really need to qualify for NNL finals.
Yeah.
Even though you know you're doing 1,000 more comps after that, you just want to get that weight off of your shoulders. And this was, for young adults, I'm used to 3 to 5 people. There were 17 for that one, and there were a lot of really good people. Ryan Auger was in that, and in standings, me and him were going back and forth for first in points. And actually this weekend I'm going up against him for first, so I actually have to beat him because I'm only ahead by 2 points. Not that matters in the long run, but it's a fun little side game.
Yeah. Even though it just, determines the runner, and I don't think, being second to last or last really matters, it's still kind of fun to be hey, look at, I'm the top of the leaderboard. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of one of the fun things we do for kind of side games. Oh, if I get this many points, I can do this, and we all know that the point system doesn't really go off of how skilled you are.
Yeah.
Because I can think of a few people in my list that are top 10, top 15, top 20 that really shouldn't be. But they've done 9 comps and the points add up at the end. So it's not really a skill thing. I don't think that comes down to playing the finals. For Real Life Ninja Academy, to get back to the point, the second obstacle was quad steps. And I was going to take them slower, and on the third step, I hit it too far forward, and they were really awkward, like plywood, but they had fuzz on the end, so they were stiff but slippery.
Yeah.
And I hit too far forward, and it leaned forward and fell on me.
Ow.
And ever since then, Drew's like, I saw you hold back. I'm like, yeah. He said, next time don't hold back, and you'll get by it every time. So now I just have to tell myself, okay, rush it. Or not rush it, but go quick. Run through it.
Yeah.
So, for your submission video for the show, what did you do for that? How'd you get that call back?
So I talked a lot about ninja and my gymnastics. I didn't really have a story. My story, I guess, was when I broke my toe last year. I broke it at a gymnastics competition on the beam, and then I competed on it, and then I almost needed surgery, but I didn't, thankfully, and then I competed on it at the first ever nationals. So, it wasn't, a huge story, but it was, kind of big to me, because, that's, the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the hard part about casting, because Arnold Hernandez, if you know who that is, he owns the MLab CA, for those of you that don't know. And he was talking to me about submission videos and what they look for, because he's friends with a lot of producers. And he said that they either look for a story or personality. So you have to unload with one or the other.
Yeah, I think mine was a lot of personality. We were also on a cruise at the time, a little bit later, and they were asking for a ton of videos, so we filmed on different spots and different islands, and I tried to put as much personality as I could into it.
Yeah, you just gotta do some of the stuff that is a little bit out there, a little wacky, Jake Murray type stuff.
Yep.
I know for me, that's what I'm gonna have to do, because I don't have a story.
Yeah.
I've just been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, and I don't think the show really demonstrates, how good people are, because Caden Lepsack, who I would say is the best kid in the country or the world, did not get called for the show, but he is phenomenal, and I don't think the show represents how good everyone is.
Yeah, I think some of the hard part, too, for them is they're trying to make a TV show. You know, they need entertainment, they need the stories, they need something to keep people watching.
Yep.
And, I mean, we can all think of a handful of competitors just in the Midwest comps alone that they're really good, but if you put them in front of a camera, it's just like, hi, my name's whatever, you know, and that's not entertaining. But when you get on the course, it's insane.
As, camera friendly, but they're just really good competitors.
Yeah. I know last year, Sean Noel, he's probably the strongest person I've trained with.
Yes.
And for those of you that don't know Sean, he's not a big name because he hasn't been on TV much. You know, I think he got one airtime in the Cleveland qualifiers. And, but for Cleveland qualifiers, he got third place in city qualifiers on a broken ankle.
Wow.
Or at least that's what I heard. He had a broken ankle, and they actually had to carry him back to his hotel room. And they didn't air that. They aired his final run, where he went down on the log roller, which was the second obstacle. And what gave way was his bad ankle, which is why he kind of flew off of it. And so he's one of the strongest people I know. Who else can you think that would get third place on a bad ankle?
Yeah.
I think he beat out, first place was Morosky and second was McGrath. And then, fourth was Jamie Ron. You know, so it was an elite group up there.
Yeah.
Too. And he didn't get a call back for season 10.
Wow.
I mean, I was waiting with him in the walk-on line.
Oh, that's cool.
Just waiting for him to get his shot, and he did at 6:30 a.m. as the sun was coming up. But, you know,
but it's probably worth the wait.
Oh, yeah. But sometimes, you know, that kind of goes with the skill level thing. You know, one of the most skilled ninjas I know didn't get a call back. When you look at some of these stories, and some of them amazing stories, you know, nothing to take away from that. But it's I had this tragedy, and then when they finish the first obstacle, it's and they've only been training for a month. Can you believe that? It's what? A month? No, we dedicate our lives to this. Alright, so, Emily, I hear that you have a nickname in the ninja world.
Yes, I'm known as the Princess Ninja. So, there's not really that much backstory to it, you know, every time. So, if you guys don't know, I train with Dennis Lappin, who is on the American Ninja Warrior, and he always called me Princess, so I decided that was going to be my ninja name for the show. But I also like that name because I'm trying to show girls that they can do anything they put their minds to, and you can dress up, you can get your nails done, but you can also still be really tough and do all the things that guys can do.
I think that's one of the kind of really cool things about the show now is we're really kind of seeing that growth of women in the sport. It's no longer just all the guys and then Casey Catanzaro. Now we have a ton of just amazing women, and that's just coming up now with A&W Junior. There's so many talented ones that are coming up and being the boys' butts.
I know a lot of times girls are like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not strong enough. But they are. They just have to believe in themselves.
Oh, yeah, some of the best athletes in the sport. Like you think of Megan Martin, Jessie Graff, Barclay.
Definitely.
They're stronger than I am.
Yeah.
They're up there with the Drews and the Joes and Daniel Gill and those top ninjas that everyone kind of thinks of that come to mind.
I think that they can be in the top sometime soon. They can get that $1 million.
Oh, yeah. I think, as I said, Barclay, Megan Martin, Jessie Graff, I think all of them, even like Flex,
Yeah.
I don't know why she escaped me for a little bit there, but I think all of them could finish stage 1. I think they could all finish stage 2 even, and win that 100K.
Even the underdogs, I think Abby Clark, she is really strong. I follow her on Instagram, and she's strong.
And there's one girl, Madeline McNeil, who she was in Indianapolis, and she ran with the big pink buns on the top of her head.
Yep.
And she got 3rd place by about 20 seconds behind Jerry.
Yeah, wow.
Which she killed, and she was someone that no one knew about. She was only 20 at the time, so the age drop really kind of helped her out there.
I think you have to look out for those rookies, because a lot of times you underestimate them, and they actually whoop your butt.
Oh, yeah. I think now, too, with the age limit dropping to 19, we really kind of saw a rise of what that next generation, kind of our generation of ninjas can really do. I know there's a lot of us that are coming up and we're super strong and hanging with the adults.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I do more adult comps than I do youth or teen comps now.
Yeah, that's for Athlete Warrior Games. UNAA, I decided to age up to the amateur women to be more of a challenge.
Yeah, and I know for me, because MLab Ohio is the closest gym to me that does regular competitions. Yeah. I know for them, I don't do their youth comps. I do all their adult comps. And it's between me and Isaac usually for 1st place. And Jonathan if he competes too. But I mean, like, me and Isaac, we're not old enough for the show, and we're competing against adults. And every single comp I've gone to with the two of us, we both got in top 3. Now, granted, it changes whether we're 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, but we're consistently kind of that top 3, and we're still that kind of younger underdog group.
So, question for you. How long have you been doing ninja?
So I've been doing ninja for a little bit over 3 years now.
Okay.
How long have you been doing it?
How'd you get into ninja?
Same way as pretty much everyone, I think, just watching the show and falling in love with it. Then when we moved to Ohio, we had a basement that was gigantic and unfinished. So we went,
perfect for ninja.
Yeah. So my dad was like, hey, I need more tasks to do around the house. Let's make a ninja course. So we started off with a pegboard. I sucked at it, but I still loved doing it. And after like a week, I could go down one side somewhat consistently. And from there, we just started making more obstacles, and then you'd go to like the playgrounds and just hang off of low stuff, and that's really when I began my training.
Cool.
How'd you get into Ninja Warrior?
I do gymnastics, the building across from my ninja gym now, and Carrie Sherbrooke, who is the owner of The Edge, she would bring us over from gymnastics and we would work out there. One day she had ninja stuff set up. She had a couple quad steps, some monkey bars, and we got to do it instead of conditioning. I fell in love instantly. And she told us, like, hey, I'm going to be having classes if you guys want to do it. And I told my mom right away, I was like, no, I have to sign up. I have to do it. And then I just fell in love with it ever since.
So how long had you been doing gymnastics before then?
I've been doing it since I was 2. and I'm 14 now, so 12 years.
Wow. I think, too, one of the big draws for me and a lot of people, too, is the community of Ninja Warrior and just how big it is.
Yeah.
I think that how kind of inclusive the whole thing is. Alright guys, so that was our first ever podcast. Sorry it was a little short compared to some of the other podcasts and all that, but we just thought you guys should kind of get to know us a little bit more, and with Emily recently being on A&W Junior, it was a perfect kind of topic to talk about. If you guys have any suggestions for any future podcasts or guests that you want to see, or even YouTube videos, because we do tips and tricks videos along with our course runs and all that kind of stuff. And when off season comes in like a few months, we'll probably be putting up different montages and more tips and tricks videos. So let us know what you want to see us do, and we will try to do the best that we can to respond to that and do it to however you want. And we do have anything else to add?
Make sure you go like our Instagram videos, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.